Hello and welcome to the Vinyl Sanctuary. My name is Christian and I hope that you will join me in taking refuge in records. So I'm here today with part 2 of my Top 100 Side 1 Track 1s series, and I'm going to be looking here at the songs I have ranked from number 90 up to 81. So if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the series and you're wondering what I've been up to and what I'm doing here right now, then please do check out part 1, which I've put a link to that video in the description box to this video that you're watching now. So in part 1, I talk about, the reasons why I've decided to do the series. I talk about some rules I put upon myself as regards making the picks that I did. All that important technical stuff that one needs to know when they're about to start watching a new series, and especially if you want to be playing along at home as well. So I look at the songs there that I've ranked from number 100 up to 91. Feedback to that has been really positive, which I'm delighted to hear, and I've had some really great conversations in the comments section as well. So I'm just going to get straight into part 2 now. I've got 10 songs to talk about. I'm really excited to be getting into them. We've got 8 songs here which all came out in the 1980s, and then we've got a couple right at the end of this batch that were released in the 1970s as well. So yeah, some really good picks here in songs that are very close to my heart. Otherwise they wouldn't have made the final cut, the 100, given that I had over 1,000 songs to choose from originally. I've pared it all the way down to 100, and then I've proceeded to rank them as well. Okay, so sit back everybody, enjoy yourself. I hope that you do. Do let me know if you found my picks to your liking on this occasion. Any picks that you agree with, disagree with, anything at all, just, please do get in touch and let me know what you make of these songs. Maybe there's some new discoveries for you. Maybe they're old favourites. We'll wait and see. Okay, so kicking us off then now, we've got a great song here, opening a great album. It was released in 1983. It's a band that were very much a linchpin of the Paisley Underground movement, which was doing its thing back in California at the time. And just a lovely album full of psychedelic influences, bit of country rock in there, courtesy of the Byrds and the Flying Burritos, and there's some sort of Beatles elements here in here as well. But the actual opening track just really sets the scene and the tempo and the mood for the album as it starts to unfold. So here we've got, kicking us off then, the song is called Talking in My Sleep. The album is Emergency Third Rail Power Trip, and the band is The Rain Parade. So I'll show this copy off the actual record because it's a lovely repress, this one. So as you can see from the hype sticker, it does indeed describe it as being a classic from the Paisley Underground, which it is. This is the first ever US LP reissue copy that I've got here, so it's an import. It's a red and yellow starburst vinyl, which I'm going to show you in a moment, and this actual print run was limited to 1,000 copies. So there's that lovely front cover there with the balloons, and then we've got a lovely picture there, black and white picture of the group on the back. You can even see there from their attire that they're very 60s influenced. This is just such a great album, very enjoyable, but I'll get into that opening song in a moment. We're only talking about just the songs in this series, not the albums as a whole, doing a track by track account or anything like that. So this is really nice looking, looks great on the turntable when it's swirling around and spinning, and then you've got, of course, the sounds coming out the speakers, makes for a lovely combination. So there's that red and yellow starburst. It's just for anyone who may not have seen this copy of it before. It plays really well, it sounds nice as well. It's a good pressing of the record, nice and flat, quite dynamic sounding as well. So no complaints from me. If anybody's maybe got their eye on acquiring a copy of it, I would certainly recommend it. I'm very pleased to have it in the collection. So I'll just pop it all away here, and then we'll talk about the song Talking in My Sleep. So it's a very appropriate title, the line Talking in My Sleep, because the song itself has got such a dreamy, sleepy, hypnotic kind of a quality to it. Very psychedelic. It really is taking you back to the 60s in terms of its groove and mood. It's got this lovely Byrdsian guitar riff to kick things off. There are some really nice harmonies that come into play to sort of midway through the track. Gorgeous guitar solo in there as well. It's got like a couple of slide elements to it. So it kind of does very much wear its influences on its sleeve, but just does it in such an effective way that I can't help but love the song, and I do really love the album as well. And this album was actually, for anyone interested, a very big influence on the Stone Roses, who are a group that I absolutely adore, love them to bits. They, of course, were released their classic debut album in 1989, so a good 6 years after this debut album came out from the Rain Parade on the other side of the Atlantic. So, you know, you've got the sunshine here of California, and then you had the sunshine of Manchester, slightly different type of sunshine, but great swirling psychedelic music, both on the Stone Roses album and on this one as well. So I always like to mention that this album was a big influence on the Stone Roses, because there might be people who are watching that are into that type of music from the late 80s, that alternative guitar music, you know, laid the way for Britpop, who perhaps have never heard of the Rain Parade or never listened to this album. If you are currently in that camp, then I would be absolutely over the moon if you were to give this album a try. And please, of course, do check out that opening track, Talking in My Sleep. Great vocals, great composition, production is lovely. Love the percussion work on it. Sounds quite, you know, quite sort of muted and flat, but very colourful in its way. As I mentioned, lovely guitar solo, and just got this lovely hypnotic, dreamy quality to it. So a very nice song to get us started here in part 2 of my ranking. Okay, so moving on then. So as I mentioned, we're going to be in the 1980s for a while here, right up until the very end. So the song here that I'm about to talk about was a single released in 1984. Massive, massive hit for the band on what was a massive album, a world beater. So the record itself, the album, came out in 1985. This was a group that I was pretty obsessed with when I was a lot younger. So I'm going back here to pretty much kind of my first year or so of high school, so 11, 12, something like that. This group were just so huge for me. They really, really were. They're a duo. I just connected with the lyrical themes, quite angst ridden in places, but great big gorgeous melodies as well. Always production wise sounded brilliant, and just, yeah, connected with them. So this song here is for nostalgia purposes. It's here for memorability, emotional connection, but it was just a case of where it was going to be ranked. So this one comes in at number 89. So the album I'm talking about is Songs from the Big Chair. The band, of course, is Tears for Fears, comprised of Roland Orzabal and Kurt Smith. And that opening track is, of course, Shout. Shout, shout, let it all out. One of those songs that is just so memorable, a staple on radio stations all over the world, massive, just global phenomenon really, on an album chock full of great songs and hits. But there's something very powerful about Shout. It's a real statement of intent, and I feel like that as an opening track, it was Roland and Kurt's way of saying, look, you're going to listen here. I mean, the final track's called Listen. I just feel like it was this sort of idea behind it of being, we want you to really take notice of what we're about, what we're trying to communicate. And I think getting that message through as they did on a global scale means that they just accomplished, no doubt beyond the wildest dreams, expectations, everything that they were seeking to do. I mean, I'm sure that they believed in their songs, because they are amazing songs, but my word, the way in which this thing took off was just awesome, really awesome for the band. So I love the lyrics of Shout. I always have done. They've always intrigued me. I love how it sounds. The drums are booming on it. There's this lovely kind of organ bit that comes in and out, which I've always found to be quite sort of 60s-ish, even though it's a very 80s song in terms of how it's presented. Roland takes, lead, sort of the lead on the vocal side of it, and sounds brilliant. And I just feel that whenever you've got a song with such a big sort of refrain to it, a mantra to it, that hypnotic quality where it just goes in your head and it stays there, then you know that you're always on to a winner. And just in terms of setting a mood and trying to get people to connect with something with a big powerful message, I think that is a great example of a song that achieves that really admirably. So Shout had to be in there, and it is indeed here. There it is. spoken about it. Great song, takes you right back to childhood. Many very fond memories of listening to that album, and of course that track. Lost count of the number of times I've heard that over the years, and I've never ever gotten tired of it. Great song, a brilliant achievement. Okay, so the next one we've got coming up, I'm going to reveal a bit of trivia for anyone who might be interested before I talk about the song itself and the album it comes from. So what I will say to start with is that the record itself is from 1986, but I'm now going to talk about a film just for a moment because it's relevant to the track that came out in 1988. So for anybody who's a big fan of the channel, or a fan of the channel, or a casual fan of the channel, i.e. somebody who's been following me for a while, let's put it that way, they will know by now that I'm a massive fan of films, and I often talk about my favourite actor of all time, which is James Spader. Love the guy to bits, amazing, love him, brilliant. So he was in a film called Jack's Back in 1988 that was set in Los Angeles, and he plays the part of identical twins, very different personalities, so he's got a dual role, plays both twins brilliantly in my opinion, and it's actually a bit of an underrated gem, that film, a mystery thriller. With the plot, very quickly, very succinct overview, is that a modern day Jack the Ripper is on the rampage on the streets of LA. So 100 years after the original murders, in Whitechapel in London in 1888, there is now this new person on the loose in 1988, hence the title of Jack's Back. Beg your pardon, nearly said the name of an actor there instead. Jack's Back. Okay, so why are you wondering why I'm talking about all that? Okay, so the reason I'm talking about it is because Jack's Back was not intended to be the original name of the film. The film was actually going to be named after the title of this song that I'm now about to talk about. So the idea originally was that Rowdy Herrington, who I think he wrote, maybe produced the film, he certainly directed it as well, wanted this song to be the opening theme, the song at the start of the film. And my word, it would have been a brilliant way to set the film off because it's got such a cinematic vibe to this song, and it would have worked so well on a mystery thriller type film. But unfortunately, due to budget issues, the filmmakers could not secure the rights to this song. So they had an alternate piece of music recorded, which I think from memory was called Red Harvest. That's the name of the piece from memory. And then the title of the film ended up being Jack's Back, which, it's not a great title, but, I suppose it does what it does. So, are you wondering now what song I could be talking about? So I'll give you another moment to think it through. This was in from 1986, and it would have been appearing in a film in 1988. So, see if you know. Okay, hopefully that's given people enough time there to mull it over and wonder. So, the film, as intended to be, had the budget not gone against them, the film would have been called Red Rain. And the song Red Rain would have appeared on the film. And of course, that is the opening track on the album So by Peter Gabriel. So a little bit of trivia there for you, for any James Spader fanatics like me. They probably would already know that, but film fans in general, I hope you found that introduction there interesting. But I just thought it was worth mentioning because it really does lead very much into why I love the song Red Rain so much. It's not just because of the fact that it was going to be potentially used on a James Spader film. That's not the only reason why. I just find that, as a point of interest to talk about. I love the song because it's just a magnificent song. It is cinematic. It is very noirish in its execution. It sounds beautiful. Peter Gabriel's voice on it sounds... It's a strange kind of combination of slightly menacing but also reassuring as well, would be a way that I'd describe it. I think sometimes with the lyrics, there is like this kind of very ominous tone to it. And I think that when I listen to it now, because I always have in the back of my mind how it would have sounded and been used on a murder film about this modern day Jack the Ripper. When you listen to the song with that context to it, it does kind of put a very different slant and perspective on the song. Now, granted, the song wasn't written for the film. I understand that it was written without any relevance or connection to the film itself, but I can't help but make that connection when I listen to it. So it's just got this wonderful kind of dark quality to it in a way, Red Rain. And what I've always found fascinating about it is that it sets the mood in one way for a record, but then it goes, you know, the track that follows on from it is Sledgehammer, which could not be any different in tone or vibe or mood to Red Rain. So Red Rain isn't an example to me of a great opening song that kind of leads you into the rest of the album, because Sledgehammer kind of takes you out of one headspace and puts you in another. Great song, Sledgehammer, and I love the whole album. But Red Rain, I think for me, without using, you know, what might sound like a horrible sort of pun, it's almost like a bit of a red herring, really. It's just a great standalone song in its own right, and when I listen to it, especially when I put it on at night time as well, there's just such this evocative mood to it, and Peter's voice on it, as always, just sounds magnificent. So yeah, had to get that in there in the top 100, and it's a shame really that it didn't get used in the way that it could have been for the film Jack's Back, but you know, these things happen sadly with budgets and things. But just please do listen to the song. It's just such a great song, and just the use of piano in there. I think it's more like the phrasing of the chord sequences. There's space within the song. There's like a breathability to it that I just find really compelling. So brilliant song, that, from a great album. Another monster selling album. That great album from the 80s. We've got there Peter Gabriel with So and Red Rain. Okay, so that is the only film sort of trivia bit that I'm going to be doing, certainly in this part, and probably for the rest of the parts to follow. Like I say, I just thought it was an interesting thing to share. Okay, so for the next two picks, we're actually going over to the year 1980. And in many respects, these two bands, it's just the way that they fall in my ranking, wasn't intentional or anything, were, I suppose, like, what would you say, sort of comrades of each other, friends of each other, supporters, I suppose, of one another, both producing some outstandingly good post-punk music in the early part of their career. I will be completely honest and say that the band that I'm going to show after this one here, I love, and you know, I'm into a lot more than this band I'm going to show now. But this album here, it is an absolute post-punk masterpiece. For me, it can't be denied. So coming up now, we have got, from 1980, debut album by this group, we've got Boy by U2, and the song is I Will Follow. So here's my copy of it. And what do we say about I Will Follow? So I love the intensity of the song, which is why it's in here. There's just this real drive to it. There's a real spirit to the song. When I actually read into the background of it, I didn't realise for a long time that it was written about the passing of Bono's mother, I think when he was about 14 years old. And when I've listened to that song again, since having that information in my mind, I think it just adds a real, even further depth to the song, and a sense of understanding, I feel, in terms of where Bono was coming from with what he was trying to convey in the song itself. I feel like the power of the music is really purposeful in so much as how it complements the lyrics as well. The Edge's guitar work on it, of course, is fantastic. I would say that it's one of the Edge's greatest guitar riffs. The pulsing bass throughout by Adam Clayton is superb, and then of course in Larry Mullen Jr. you have got an exceptional drummer. So this for me is a group at this stage in the career who were just all guns blazing. This is by far my favourite ever U2 album. There's nothing really else for me that comes close. I know a lot of people will disagree with me on that. That's absolutely fine. This is only my opinion. If you want to share yours with me in the comments, please feel free to do so. This is just me talking. I'm a huge post-punk fan, and this is, for me, their greatest album. So I Will Follow. Yeah, great decisions in there from a musical perspective. I've always loved the glockenspiel that kind of tinkles around in the background, while you've got this really driving, almost Susie and the Banshee style guitar part by the edge. And Bono just sounds impassioned on it as well, as one would expect, given, as I've mentioned, what the song lyrically is in relation to. So just an absolutely triumphant, brilliant song. And to have that as your opening track on your debut, again, like I said earlier with Tears for Fears, although that wasn't their debut album, it is just a statement of intent, and I think it's really, really well done. Great work, that one. And yeah, the production on this one by Steve Lillywhite, absolutely brilliant. Okay, so that is I Will Follow. So next song now, obviously group coming in from Ireland. So now we're going over to a group from Scotland, 1980. Not a debut album, but early on in their career, and it even has the same opening word letter in the title as well, which is I. So we've got I Will Follow. We've now got I Travel, and of course the group I'm talking about is Simple Minds, and the album, as you can see, is Empires and Dance. So I Travel is my next pick in my top 100. Wow, do I love this song. Absolutely amazing. And this has got a great production job on it by John Leckie. So we've had Steve Lillywhite, brilliant producer, and then we've got John Leckie here as well. And you know, in terms of post-punk brilliance, those two guys, amazing. Worked with some of the very best bands in that genre, and worked on some of the best albums as well. So okay, let's get into I Travel. So for me, what I love about it as an opening track is just how unique it sounds. It's got this really sort of clanky, throbbing, pulsing groove, industrial kind of rhythm to it. It's like a mashup of Kraftwerk and Donna Summer, basically. It's got this unbelievably good bass line in it from Derek Forbes. I mean, the bass all the way through it is just like so good. Honestly, I can't even describe how good it is. It's unique, it's brilliantly played, it just gives the song this energy to it. The lyrics on it as well are fantastic. I always get this sort of vision when I'm listening to it of the band, you know, probably sort of hurtling along on the Autobahn or something in Germany, looking at all these buildings and, you know, places of cultural and historical interest, and just capturing that almost that kind of overwhelm of culture and history, you know, just, you know, almost like a bit of an assault on the senses. You know, this band from Glasgow kind of touring around that part of Europe, going into all these different countries, seeing these sites, and then the words, then the lyrics being captured in that way for posterity on a song like I Travel. But it's that clanking, industrial, almost like mutant disco vibe to it that just makes me just keep coming back for more. I mean, it is a post-punk song, make no mistake, but there's like this kind of really European sort of, like I mentioned, krautrock sort of thing going on with it as well. And I really do feel it's one of Simple Minds' greatest ever songs. I mean, this is my favourite. I would say this is my favourite Simple Minds album. It might be joint first with another one that I can, you know, that I've got in my head. But I really do love early Simple Minds. They were just such an interesting, exciting band at this stage. And a song like I Travel, I'm just always there for it. It's got some like really kind of Roxy music style influences coming in there as well. And it even name drops Brian Eno, actually. I should mention that in the lyrics when he's singing about, you know, hearing music in airports and stuff. So nice little nod to Brian Eno, both lyrically and early Roxy when Brian Eno was still in the group as well. So brilliant song, that one, I Travel by Simple Minds. Okay, so moving on then. We've been in Ireland, been to Scotland, now we're going over to England. This is a group that released an absolute masterpiece of a record in 1983. So we were in 1983 early with the Rain Parade with their debut. Got another debut here. This for me, greatest album of the 80s. It's just so good, absolute masterpiece. I was introduced to this album when I used to work at a record shop, in the town that I grew up in. Pretty much, well, my boss certainly was obsessed with it, and pretty much all of his friends as well. So I was around this album all the time, listening to it, and it certainly worked its magic and its charm on me, and I've been obsessed with it now for years. Went on to inspire and influence a lot of bands that came up in the early 2000s, such as Interpol. And I would say this group themselves were definitely being influenced by the likes of, very early U2, maybe some Simple Minds in there as well. But they went away and forged their own very fiery post-punk sound. So coming up next, the song is Don't Fall. The album is Script to the Bridge, and the band is The Chameleons, coming out of Middleton in North Manchester. So my copy here is a restored and remastered version. It was done at Abbey Road Studios. It's a two LP one, this one. This artwork here, lovely artwork. Not quite the same coloration as the original pressing, but that artwork was done by Reg Smithies, who's one of the two guitarists in the group. So where's Reg? Reg is there. Amazing guitar player, along with the absolutely brilliantly talented Dave Field in there as well. Their guitar interplay is just on another level. You got John Lever there on drums, brilliant work by John Lever. And then of course we've got here Mark Burgess on bass and vocals, now known as Chameleon Vox. Great artist. So, Don't Fall, what a song. This for me is a flawless record. Don't Fall kicks off with this sample from a film. I only recently found out what the film was. It was one of those things that nagged me for years. For anyone's interested, the film is called Two Sisters from Boston, and it was released in 1946, and there's like a little spoken word passage right at the beginning of the song. Sets you up. I've always found it such an intriguing little snippet of audio, and then it just kicks into this absolutely full-on fiery post-punk gem of a song, Don't Fall. Mark's vocal delivery throughout it is just powerful and huge. It's angry in places. There's other parts of it where he almost sounds quite pleading in the lyrics as well. The lyrics are just on another level, really draw you into the sound of what the Chameleons are creating. And it's just one of those songs that doesn't let up. It really doesn't. When you're hearing it for the first time, just because of some of the power of it, it can be quite an overwhelming listen, but in a really positive way. I think it's a song that needs a few listens for someone to really absorb it and really take it for what it is. But this is an album, for anyone who doesn't know it, Script to the Bridge, please do check it out. It's just an incredible piece of work. And Don't Fall is very much an example of a song that is setting you up for what you're about to listen to. It's an epic listen, Script to the Bridge. But I just feel as an achievement, as an accomplishment, especially again on your debut album as well. You want to start off strong, don't you? And this one certainly does. Today's Freak Out, Nothing's Familiar, Nothing Seems to Matter in the Scheme of Things. There is some really great lyrics on it as well. Seeing faces where there shouldn't be faces. It's quite cryptic in places. There's a lot of lyrics that I tend to gravitate towards but it just sounds so powerful and strong. All four members on it, musically, all in sync, all in harmony. Great stuff. Very driving, full of real potency and passion. That one, great song. Don't Fall by the Chameleons. Okay, so next up, how many have we got left here? So we've got four songs left to talk about. So if you're still with me at this point, thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate you tuning in and continuing to watch the video. I do hope that you've enjoyed it so far, but your attention and time really does mean the world to me, so thank you very much for that. So now I'll crack on with what's left to show in part two. So we're staying in Manchester for this next group, and this album came out in 1986, so it was a few years after Script to the Bridge. Classic album. I mean, there's, again, thankfully I'm not talking about the albums as a whole too much at all. This one is just again, like Script to the Bridge, critically acclaimed to the hilt, quite rightly. Arguably this band's greatest album for a lot of people. It is just wonderful, but my word, the opener. What a great song to kick it off. So we've got coming up now, the song is called Queen is Dead, And the album, of course, is called Queen is Dead, and the band is The Smiths, with Alan Dillon there on the front cover. Okay, Queen is Dead. So let's talk about that song then in a moment. Just show you the gatefold on this one, with that, obviously, that iconic photograph there of the band at outside Salford Lads Club. There we go. So Andy Rourke, Morrissey, Johnny Marr and Mike Joyce. There we are. Brilliant. Okay, so Queen is Dead as an opener. So I don't feel that there's any other song quite like The Queen is Dead in the Smiths catalogue. I feel like, along with How Soon Is Now, the Queen is Dead is a song that, not just because of its duration, because, you know, How Soon Is Now and The Queen is Dead are both pretty lengthy songs. I think what I really love about The Queen is Dead as a song is that, as much as I adore the jingly jangly guitar style of Johnny Marr, and his playing was a huge influence on me personally when I was starting to learn the guitar, what I love about The Queen is Dead, the song, is that there's like no jangle on it whatsoever. You know, this is Johnny Marr just in pure just guitar, almost like in this haze of just walls and walls of guitar everywhere, and he's playing all kinds of different rhythms, and, you know, there's like places where he's kind of going all over the fretboard, like almost like freaking out a little bit in a way, and it's just a joy to listen to it. You can hear how much guitars, you know, he's laid on each other. There's bits where he's playing like almost like very sort of funky, scratchy passages as well. Like the jangle is just not there at all, and I love that. I think Johnny Marr was maybe using the song as a way of showing, look, I have got more to my game here as a player than just these beautiful, you know, jingly jangly melodies that by this stage in the Smiths' existence he would quite rightly become known for. I feel like it's him just spreading his wings and just totally wigging out and going for it, and it is just wonderful to hear. And when you throw into the mix not only all that guitar stuff going on, and it feels quite strong and quite distorted for a Smiths song, the drums by Mike Joyce are just absolutely enormous, pounding drums on it right from the very beginning. He sets the tone for the song, sets the tone for the album. The bass work by Andy Rourke, as always, is just rock solid, super melodic, beautiful sort of like descending notes coming in and out, almost matching the vocal phrasing of Morrissey in places. Like, these are the things that tell me. And as Morrissey's singing those bits and his voice is lowering, the bass line actually joins him in that, which creates this quite woozy effect when you're listening to it. And of course, Morrissey's on top form as well. I mean, it's an amazing vocal performance by Morrissey. Got some of my favourite lyrics in the song as well. And I am just going to, I mean, even though I know it by memory, I'm just going to consult the lyrics here for this bit. Of course, it's it's an anti-monarchy song, but I do love the line, "Where is it? Can find it, because it's small, that writing." I might just have to go for it from memory. So yeah, and so I broke into the palace with a sponge and a rusty spanner. She said, "Oh, I know you, and you cannot sing." I said, "That's nothing. You should hear me play piano." Definitely one of my favourite ever Smiths lines. That it really makes me laugh. Just a great line, you know, rhyming spanner and piano is pretty inspired, isn't it? Just the way he sings it as well. So, The Queen is Dead, brilliant song. That Life is Very Low When You're Lonely. Just, again, just the band all on top form. And whilst, you know, the rest of the album doesn't continue in the same vein as The Queen is Dead, you know, stylistically it does jump around quite a bit. I just think if you're going to have an opener on an album like that, just go for it. And my word, does that song go for it. Queen is Dead, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So there we go, that's that one covered. Okay, so got one more song here to show from the 1980s, and then we're going to be getting into our two picks from the 1970s. Gosh, it was hard ranking all these, you know, and I'm not even not even close to finishing yet. I've got another 7 parts to record, haven't I, after this? Goodness, or is it? No, 8 parts, isn't it? Wow, yeah. So yeah, thank you for joining me on the journey, everybody. So this song here is another self-titled, actually. So we have The Queen is Dead, They're from the Smiths, name of the album, name of the song, and this song here is also the name of the album that I'm about to show. So this song here is a great example of a hardcore punk band doing power pop and doing it incredibly well, doing it in a very infectious and a very catchy way, and two singers just going for it on drums and guitar respectively, and then being very, very ably supported by an extremely capable, very talented bassist as well. So we've got a power trio coming up here. So coming out in 1985, we've got the album Flip Your Wig by Husker Du, and that opening song is of course called Flip Your Wig as well. Great song, Flip Your Wig. Great album. This might be my favourite Husker Du album. That's kind of changed and flipped and flopped over the years, that one, that decision, but I am really, really vibing with this record again at this moment in time. It's kind of flitty between New Day Rising and Zen Arcade and stuff, but I do find myself coming back to this one a lot, and I think a lot of it is to do with just how strong the album is as a whole, but it's just that opening track. It's so good. Just cuts out, like, it kicks off with these like great slashing guitar chords by Bob Mould. Really, really powerful, in your face. He's then handling the vocals for a good part of the song, but then you get Grant Hart coming in, who's drumming away as well. They almost take like, a verse each, and then their voices come together at different times as well, which didn't happen very often on Husker Du songs. Usually it would be if Bob wrote it completely or in isolation, he'd sing it all, and if Grant wrote it, then he'd sing it. But on this one, we get them both coming together, and it just sounds perfect. Lovely, very brief guitar solo from Bob, who, for me is one of my guitar heroes, and it's one of the better produced Husker Du records for me. So that really elevates the potency and power of the song as well. But yeah, again, if you're looking for just a great opener, very poppy, power poppy, lots and lots of oomph to it, then please do give Flip Your Wig a listen. It's one of those blink and you'll miss it songs. It's not particularly long, but it's very, very, very powerful and very impactful. So that has to be in there as well. And speaking of which, these two songs I'm showing at the end aren't especially long either. So, sometimes less is more, isn't it? As great as it can be to have these big epic songs, 5, 6, 7 minutes and beyond, that's wonderful when it works, but also you're just looking for something that's a couple of minutes and just does its thing and then it goes. Okay, so we are now going over to the 1970s for these last two, and we're going to be in Britain for the both of them, in England. And this one here is the height of punk, 1977. Great album. Love the image of these guys. It's like just, four people who just look like total misfits who just decided to form a band together, and what a band they formed. Incredible stuff. So we've got The Damned with Damned. That's the name of the album. And in the spirit of repetition, we got Damned for the title, and the opening track is Neat. Absolutely brilliant record. So good. Every time I stick it on, I'm happy. Love the flow of it. Love everything about it. But let's stick to opening songs. So Neat. Brilliant bass line. That just gets your blood pumping straight away, courtesy of the amazing Captain Sensible. Unbelievable talent. Again, a phenomenal guitarist, but he was on bass playing duties at this point in the group. You got amazing Brian James here on guitar and vocals. His playing is like really Stooges influenced on Neat. Just, again, quite slashy, very aggressive, very in-your-face guitar playing. The drum work on Rat Scabies is heroic, is how I would describe that. And then you've got Dave Vanian wailing away. He looks like he should be in the Cramps or something there, shouldn't he, Dave? Absolutely love Dave Vanian. What a front man he is. Brilliant, great. So he's wailing away. Neat. Can't afford a cannon, can't afford a gun at all. It's just, honestly, such a great song. That bass is just relentless throughout. It's pulsing away. It's just going. Thrashes about. Great way to kick off an absolutely wonderful punk album. That so good. Neat by The Damned. Yeah, excellent work, that one. Produced by Nick Lowe. Okay. Right, finishing us off then. We're going to 1972. One of my favourite ever songwriters. Specialised, I feel, in lyrics that seemingly quite nonsensical lyrics, I feel at times, but then other times you read them and there is depth to certainly some of the songs. Well, I mean, there's depth to all of his songs, certainly from a musical standpoint. But I think he's somebody who lyrically I have always been intrigued by, because I feel like I have to work pretty hard to kind of get a handle on what he was conveying a lot of the time. And this song and many others that he wrote are in that sort of sphere, if you will. But great way with the melody. Another very fine guitarist as well, extremely good. And wrote a song here for the ages, and an absolutely brilliant album at that as well. So ending that this part, I should say, I'm getting ahead of myself. Already thinking about part 3. Concluding part 2, which takes us up to number 81. So this is pick number 81 of the top 100. We have got the amazing Marc Bolan, of course, of T-Rex. This album is The Slider from 1972. And the opening track is, I will say, Metal Guru, as that is how Mr. Bolan sings it in the song. I mean, I would say Guru if I was saying the word, but you've got to say it as Guru when you're talking about the song Metal Guru. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. Love it so much. Metal Guru, is it you? Metal Guru, is it you? Sitting there in your armour-plated chair. Great stuff. And I think one of the things about it, apart from its catchiness, it's got a real crunching glam feel to it, which it is. It is a very glammy song. I think the thing that I've always loved so much about the song, which is why I've got it as high as I have in the top 100, is I've just always been really enamoured by Mark's vocal performance on it. There's just such a really cool... it's the way he sings some of those lines, that there's just a real coolness to it. And I feel like his voice just really encapsulates the early 70s. I've always felt that whenever I listen to this song, especially that glam period of music at the time. It's just the way he pronounces and articulates and enunciates some of the words in the singing. It just feels so pure 70s and very cool and hip, and yeah, just a really pleasing experience for me whenever I listen to his voice on this recording. I mean, I love his voice on loads of other songs he's done as well. I am a big T-Rex fan, but there's just something really special about that song. And I think just because it's kind of there and then it's not, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's quite a repetitive song, but it works so well. It's even got the tiniest, briefest of guitar solos in there as well. Although, yeah, it's a very minuscule solo. I think he might even be technically still singing over it when he plays it, so it might not technically be a solo. Even a little bit of strings swelling into the mix as well. It's just brilliant. It's just such a great composition, Metal Guru. And I think it's usually, yeah, it's that line that sticks out to me. You're going to bring my baby to me. The way his voice sounds on that line in particular just sounds great. It's just sometimes it's just about how a vocalist can deliver a line. For me, it can elevate a song between being good and being great. And for me personally, as a listener, the way that he sings that line and other parts of it elevates the song to greatness. Although I have to admit at times, I do every now and again find myself singing Panic by the Smiths over it, or thinking about Panic by the Smiths in my head, because as a lot of us know, let's just say that the Panic by the Smiths was very, very much inspired by Metal Guru, by T-Rex. Great song though. Great song. Love it. Absolutely love The Slider. Great album. What a great song there to conclude this part. Okay, so that is part 2 done and dusted. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I will be back with part 3 as soon as I can. We'll be looking at my next 10 opening songs. But until then, if you do wish to catch up on part 1, please do so. I'd love it if you did. If you're already up to date as of now, Do get involved in the comments section. Let me know what your picks would be. Let me know what you think about those songs I've chosen there and how I've talked about them. I really do enjoy getting involved in the comments. And if you are new to the Vinyl Sanctuary and you want to join me in taking refuge in records, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. I'd be very grateful if you did. If you do choose to subscribe, then don't forget to click the notification bell, and that will give you alerts as to when I've got more videos landing. And please do consider giving the video a like as well if you enjoyed what I did. So that's me all finished up for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care, and until next time, bye for now.